Alright everybody, back on the saucer. This is Sunday, April 15th. Back down in my shop, and what I'm going to be working on today is the main turret up here. I'm going to hit it with a dull coat and work a little bit more on the lower section of the saucer. Top is done, so is the bottom. I hit it with a dull coat, but I want to double check it. So I'm going to get started here. I'll pause the camera for now and I'll talk with everybody later. Alright everybody, another update. I just hit the top main turret with the dull coat. I'll let that dry. You can see on camera it's all wet. I'll let that sit and dry. It'll be ready for some weathering next weekend. And then the small turrets, a little light over here, they're drying too. I hit them with the dull coat, so they're going to be shiny for a while till they dry and cure. Everything's looking good. So back here, let's take another look at the turret, main turret. Turned out really nice over the weekend for camouflaging it, painting it. So I'm going to pause the camera for now, let this dry, and then get back to this probably next weekend, and I'll talk with everybody later. Alright everybody, another update. I hit the small turrets with the dull coat today. They're completely dry. They'll sit till next weekend. I got the seats all done with a dull coat. They're ready to be installed, but that'll be later down the road. And then the rest of the parts here, the guns and all that, it's been painted and dull coated. Then over here, I did the main top turret today, and with a dull coat, and it's dry. And I got actually the whole ship together. Everything's fitting good and looking good. Next weekend I'll start maybe with the weathering, with the oil paints. So I'll pause the camera for now and I'll talk with everybody later. Alright everybody, back on the German flying saucer. This is Friday, April 20th. Let's see, about 2:30 in the afternoon, and I'll be working on the saucer today. Probably applying some decals and doing some weathering with some oil paints. I'll have to set the camera up for that. And I'm not sure if I'm going to make this a German flying saucer. I may say like maybe we captured it and converted it over to military. And what I'm trying to get at here is, let me show you over here on my workbench. Here's the decals that come with the saucer. They're 1/72 scale, and they're pretty cool decals. You get a set of numbers and other decals up above, but I don't think I want to, like I said, make it a German. I may use these stars to put onto the saucer. I think that'll look cool. They are 1/35 scale. These are 1/72. They're about the same size. You can see here. It's kind of hard to compare because they're on the sheet. But I think that that's the route I'm going to go. I can cut the stars out, and at least the black ones there, and put them up against the where these decals are supposed to go on the saucer, and just see what it looks like. I don't have many options. I don't have 1/72 scale military decals, so I'm going to have to use the 1/35, and I think it still do just as fine. Over here on my table right here, I have the small turrets. They're done. I put a dull coat on them last week, and those are probably what I'll start with, doing the weathering first. the upper and lower saucer section's done. I applied a dull coat on those. And let's go back over here to that. Everything's done. All I need to do with the saucer is put the decals on, apply another dull coat to protect and seal the decals. But I got to work on the bottom and weather that first with the small turrets before I could start assembling the model. So let me pause the camera, set everything up, and I'll talk with everybody later. Alright everybody, back on the German flying saucer. I'm going to get ready to apply some decals to the saucer. Got the decals here on the workbench. I'm going to use this decal and then this one right here. I know the camera's not picking that up too well, but 7 and 8, and then I don't know what numbers I'm going to use. I thought about maybe 51 for like area 51, but this was before Roswell in 1947, but I thought that might look cool. I'll think about that when I get to that point. But the stars, I'm going to go with these stars. And on the instructions, I think there's a star that goes right here. That other decal goes over here, and then on the opposite side of the saucer, the other star goes. And I'll have to eye it, but I think it might be in here where the other star goes. And then there's some decals for the bottom of the saucer. So I'm going to set that up, do that off camera, and I'll talk with everybody later. Alright everybody, another update on the saucer. Off camera I applied the decals. This decal and this one over here came with the kit, so I applied those. Then I applied 3 black American stars. You can see the one right there. That looks pretty cool. I just did the main turret. You can see the star right there. And then in the instructions it says you can number it 1 through 5. Whatever number you want to put on your saucer is fine. On the box it shows number 3. But I wanted to do a little twist on mine, and I named it the 51. You can see right here, I think it looks really cool. The numbers look good on it. And like I said in the instructions, you can number it 1 through 5. I thought about putting a number 3 like it shows on the box, but decided to put a little twist on mine and name it the 51. And then on this side here, I got the other star. So everything went on fine for what little bit of decals you put on this. I got one more star I'm going to put on the lower saucer section off camera. My next step is getting the weathering set up and start on the small turrets. So I'll pause the camera for now and I'll talk with everybody later. Alright everybody, back on the weathering. What I'm going to be using is these set of oil brushes I picked up off Amazon. And I can't tell you how long I've had them. It's a nice set of oil brushes. They're all numbered. The other side here, I probably won't use them all, just a few. Like probably number 3 here, and a few over on this side. I'm going to start with the raw umber. That's the overall color for the panel lines and the rivets. There's the 2 small turrets I'm going to start on. I'm going to have to set the camera up for that. So let me go ahead and pause the camera, set that all up, and I'll be right back. Alright everybody, I got the oil paint, the raw umber on this little piece of cardboard. I'm using a number 3A oil brush. I'm going to start with this small turret first. Just going to get the rivets and the panel lines. Hopefully this is in frame. Don't have to be perfect. These paints are nice and smooth. Going on real nice. Okay. Don't have to be perfect. It's looking good so far. Hopefully that's all in frame. Looking good. A lot to cover, even as small as this turret is. I'm getting a little sloppy there, but that's alright. It's gonna look cool. Almost there. Let's see, yeah, a little bit over here. Over here. Down here. Well, I think I got all the rivets and some of the panel lines. So let me take a clean rag here. What to do with it? Okay, got the clean rag. Looking pretty cool. Okay, you can see how it's going to turn out. So let me pause the camera, continue working on this, and I'll talk with everybody later. Alright everybody, back on the weathering with the raw umber 502 oil paints. The two in the back here are already applied the raw umber, and I think it looks pretty awesome. Just with that oil paint, it weathered it and made it look really cool. And here's the before. I still have 2 to go yet, but hopefully, there we go. You can see the big difference there with just a raw umber. So I'm going to continue working off camera with the other 2. So I'll pause the camera for now, and I'll talk with everybody later. Alright everybody, another update on the German flying saucer. Yesterday, Friday, I worked on the small turrets. I used the raw umber. And this morning here, I took a rag and I took this oil thinner here and just lightly took off some the burnt umber just to lighten up the light blue. And I think that, I like the results. Everything looks cool. That's just with the burnt umber. I'm not going to do any more to the small turrets. I'm going to leave them like they are. And then maybe next weekend I can hit them with a dull coat and they're ready to go. I did buy this thinner specifically for the 502 oil paints. I haven't opened it up yet, but I bought this at a craft store. It's oil thinner and brush cleaner. It's odorless, premium cleaner and thinner. Shows you right there. 32 ounce. And paid a lot less for this at the craft store. It was like probably under $10 for this. This I picked up off of Amazon. I probably paid a good probably $15 for this little bit. But back on the small turrets, like I said, they look good. I'm going to let them set. Now I'm going to set up and do the bottom of the saucer today. So let me pause the camera, set that all up, and I'll talk with everybody later. Alright everybody, back on the saucer. I got the lower section ready. I've got the raw umber on the little piece of cardboard right here. I'm going to start with the right here and work my way down. I'll try not to be too long, and then I'll probably pause the camera for a few minutes and get ready to hit it with a rag. So let's go ahead and get started.
Whoever Billy Graham was. What was Billy Graham? Yeah, was he Presbyterian, Lutheran, what was he? Yeah, see? Specific church.
I know Now these paints are really easy to work with, which is nice. I'm no artist here, but I like the oil paints. They go on nice and smooth. Looking good. I like how the oils don't change too much on the green and the German gray. They kind of stay that color.
Obama and Clinton. Hard to do, isn't it? Yeah, President Trump said he didn't want attention. He wanted the focus to be on her, not him. They'll send his wife. So she's there. There's probably more Secret Service. That town probably. Or you, with all them former presidents there, you're not going to get within 5 miles of that church. Texas. President George W. He owned the Texas Rangers when we were in Texas. He was the owner of the
Okay.
Rangers. The baseball. Yeah. Then he sold
Hopefully this is all on frame.
Texas Rangers and used that money to run for governor. He was governor right after we left. Because remember, it was Ann Richards. Then he took it off after her.
Okay, let me pause the camera for a second.
Right after
Alright everybody, back on the saucer. Try to finish this up. And pause the camera one more time to get a rag and kind of work this into the saucer. Going on real nice here. So if anyone's going to be building this model, you can get an idea using these oils on your kit. Alright, everybody's getting a general idea. Let me pause the camera, finish this up, and I'll be right back with the rag to smooth that all in. So I'll be back here in a few minutes. Alright, everybody, back on the lower saucer. I got a rag. I'm going to smooth that raw umber in. Shouldn't take too long. Really looking good. See the results there. For the first time me using oil paints on the model, I think it's really looking good. Like I said, I'm no master at this. It's the first time I'm using oils to weather a model, and I have to say it's looking really good. Alright, everybody, there's the results. I think it looks really cool how that raw umber really brings it down and gives it that weather look. So I'm going to continue working on this. I'll pause the camera for now and I'll talk with everybody later. Alright, everybody, another update on the lower saucer section. I applied the raw umber, and then I used a rag and smoothed it all out. You can see here on camera it's looking good. So I don't know if I'm going to do any more weathering to the bottom because you're not going to see it that much. I'll let this sit and dry for a week and get on it next weekend. But everything's looking good with the weathering, with the raw umber. For the first time using oil paints, I think it's looking pretty good. So I have this done and the small turrets. I'm going to focus now on the main turret, so I'm going to pause the camera for now, set that up, and I'll talk with everybody later. Alright, everybody, back on the weathering. I got the main turret on the table, and I'm just going to get the top of the turret, not the sides, with the raw umber right here, and shouldn't take that long. And then I'll have to get the sides next weekend. I figured if I hit the top and finish that off, then I can just do a dull coat for the whole top of the gun turret, and then I can always weather the sides later. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. Shouldn't take too long. We got the oil on this little piece of cardboard, got the brush ready. A lot of rivets on the main turret, which is okay. That's just to make it look really good with the oils. Like I said, you don't have to be perfect. Makes you feel a little bit like an artist, but you know, just take your time. Like I said, this is all new to me. A little bit goes a long way. I still have to do the top. That'll probably be next weekend. I have to hit it with a dull coat today. Okay, it's looking pretty good, you can see here. Okay. I mean, everybody's going to have their own way of doing theirs. They built this kit. Doing the weathering, that is, but this is basically how you're supposed to do it. And this raw umber really looks cool. A little bit more here.
Ooh! Oh, that broke his back.
Let's see. Okay, everybody, you got the general idea. I don't want to bore everybody, so I'm going to pause the camera, hit that with the rag, and then show the results later. And I'll talk with everybody when I get around to that. What, you know, let me back up. Okay, I'm going to leave it like it is for a few minutes off camera, and then I'm going to hit it with a rag and weather the top in with the raw umber. So I'll pause the camera for now, and I'll talk with everybody later. Alright, everybody, back on the results. I think it turned out really good. I like how that umber brings out the panel lines and the rivets. So I'm going to let that set. I'll double check it to make sure if I need to touch it up anywhere, but for what you can see here on the camera, looks pretty cool. Working the first time with these oil paints, I kind of like how they look and how they weather something really easy without you having to go through a lot to do it. So I'm going to pause the camera for now, see what else I can work on the weathering part of it, and I'll talk with everybody later. Alright, everybody, back on what I've done so far this weekend using the raw umber on the small turrets. I did those first. I did the top main turret second, and then finally I hit the bottom of the saucer. And I'm not going to be going overboard. I'm just going to do a basic weathering, at least for the bottom. You're not going to see it that much. And I'm not the best teacher in the house. On any of my videos, it's hard sometimes to spit out what you want to say when you're working on a kit. And all I can do is my best. So I'm going to let this set until next weekend. I wanted to show everybody the end results. Everything's looking cool. So I'm going to go ahead and call this a wrap for part 9. I'd like to thank all my YouTube subscribers. I'd like to thank everybody for watching. Sub to my channel. And I'll talk with everybody later.